Hi guys, it's Lindsay Kuzer with Vail Events, and I'm so excited. I am here with Amanda and Matt. They were our bride and groom from August 21st, 2020, the crazy year 2020. And we're just going to chat about their wedding day. They hired Vail Events just to come in and help day of, and we did some wedding consulting beforehand. And I just have to say, you guys were amazing to work with, and I'm so glad we get to kind of recap your wedding today.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about it and I guess chit chat with you again. It's been a while.
Yes, I know. Okay, so let's just, first question is, kind of overall, like, how do you think the day went? It's been a few months, but just so everyone knows, they just got their pictures back, and so all the memories are kind of coming back to them. But so yeah, tell us a little bit about the day, just overall, how do you think it went?
Honestly, personally, I think it went really smooth.
Great.
I mean,
thanks to you.
Well, there was a lot of upfront planning and replanning with COVID. We had to change our venue. We ended up having 3 different venues. And so Lindsay, you were great helping us with like details. And I mean, we went from having an indoor wedding to an outdoor wedding and just, reminding me of little things and different vendors to reach out to. So that was really helpful. And so I think just all of the planning that we had to do because of COVID and replanning, the whole day was honestly like so perfect and smooth. And I am a pretty like type A stressed person, and I wasn't stressed at all the whole day. I felt like I could just like not worry about anything because I think if something came up, I knew you could handle it. And
you
were on top of everything, and that was great. I mean, even like Matt's mom was saying how amazing you were, and like just came over and helped beforehand. And so I think that made everyone kind of relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and his mom, it took pressure off not only me as the bride, but our family too. So I think it made everything like so smoothly. So it was great.
I agree.
You agree? Good. No, yeah, we literally, well, I know you guys did a lot of work, and Matt, your mom did a lot of work with getting the rentals and stuff, but we literally had to plan 3 weddings basically. And just all the unknown throughout the year, when we were kind of touching base, like, what do we do? Do we push back? Like, it was just so weird. And but you guys did amazing, and you're so flexible. And yes, I'm glad I was there to help you, but you guys had a really good spirits about all of it. So
a lot of things were just out of our control because of COVID. So it was kind of, well, just truck along and make it happen and make it as safe as we could. And I mean, we had a wedding and no one had got COVID. So, I mean, I think it was a good thing, right?
So good. I know. It's really hard these days, but could you imagine like if you had done your plan A, like it all worked out so well.
So we talk about that all the time
turned into the best venue of the 3 that we had.
It did.
Yeah.
Very pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah, just having it was more special since it was at his parents' property. And I mean, I think that made everyone feel more relaxed. Like even our guests, like I think people just could relax. They weren't in like a public venue area, which are great and beautiful, but like having it, private property at his family's home was just so intimate, and it ended up being beautiful. And your family was amazing helping.
Yes, they were.
Pressure off. Like the moment we decided like, all right, we're moving it to your family's property. That was probably like a month before the wedding or so, a little bit, maybe like 6 weeks before. And they just jumped in, and like your dad and mom, oh my gosh, they helped with everything. They just started booking, and I was like, thank you, because I can't replan a whole nother wedding again. So
yeah. And they lived at the house, and they could kind of like communicate when the arrival times and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was so beautiful, and it's one I'll always remember because it was so unique with being in your parents' backyard and not at a venue that I've been to 20 times, Again, all venues are beautiful, but yours was so unique with the backyard and the tents and all the rentals and the band. It was beautiful. So I'm glad overall it went well.
Yes, it definitely turned out. So we're happy with it.
Okay, so next question. Would you have changed anything or done anything different? And kind of like think about the timeline, think about like just the flow, vendors, anything you would have changed?
So one thing that I think that I would have done differently is, so like I had mixed like opinions. So like when I bought my wedding dress, they were like, oh, don't bustle it until after your first dance because it looks pretty like down.
Yes.
And I agree. We did get some pretty pictures with that, but it was honestly like twisted up all around me. I feel like when we did our first dance, it was a little distracting and I had to like lift it up. So I think that was the only thing is, because I wanted it that way. I had it planned to bustle later. And yeah, so I wish I would have just, and I think I did. I came over to you after and I was like, can you bustle it? And you like did it real quick for me, which was great.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I think I would change.
I remember seeing you kind of struggling and I was like, should I just go out there and give it to her? But I didn't want to interrupt. And I knew you wanted it down, but you grabbed it and it was perfect.
Yeah. But I sound like, I don't know if I sound bratty saying it, but I wanted to change anything else. Honestly, like, I really wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, everything went so smoothly throughout the whole night.
Yeah. If there was, I mean,
couldn't have asked for anything better. So
yeah, I really and feel like it went so smooth. And you always hear like horror stories, weddings aren't, there's always something happen. I feel like no. And if there was, I didn't know about it.
I know. It's like, we haven't talked yet. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing bad happened.
So, but
good.
For me, would you change anything?
No, I mean, everything went great. Got the girl of my dreams, so I'm lucky.
Yes, you did. Cool. Okay, so let's talk money and your budget. I know it stresses out a lot of brides trying to figure out what to spend money on. You don't want to waste a penny. You want to make sure you're getting all the right vendors. Do you feel like you wasted money anywhere, or you wish you would have spent more money on like other things? Or how did you feel about like the money you guys spent?
So I feel like honestly we stayed pretty close to budget.
Yeah, we were on budget.
We were on the whole thing. Budget, so that was good. And I don't even think
we actually saved a bunch of money moving it from one venue to
you did.
folks' backyard. So
so we did.
Did you have to cut your guest count?
Yes, we had a smaller guest count. So yeah, I ended up all even out. So I don't think there's any area that I would have put more money to. I was pretty happy and we planned ahead and we knew we wanted a certain type of wedding and so we saved up and made it happen. But I would say the one thing I'm so glad, besides you, a day of planner who helped so much, oh my goodness, I would say if you're having an outdoor wedding, like his mom ended up renting these really nice bathrooms for outside. It looked like it had air conditioning and music and they were a full-on restroom. And I think that was really nice. And all of our guests said stuff about it, how, they were just happy. It felt clean and nice. And there was, I think there was like 3 stalls on the women's side or something. So I think that was definitely money well spent there. It was so little, but having that, and I love the band. I think the band was a huge game changer. I'm so glad, we went that route. But I guess one other thing that was maybe we ate a little bit of cost on was when we originally had our venue indoors, we had just a DJ. And so I already paid a DJ, but then when we moved outdoors, I just knew I felt like we really need a band to make it a little bit more special. So we ended up having a DJ and a band. So the DJ just kind of did the cocktail music beforehand and helped do like announcements and stuff. And then he was really done. And then the band did the rest of the night. But hindsight, we really just needed a band. So I guess they worked together fine, but that was probably one area that, we didn't know, but we kind of ate a little bit of cost there. But
out of our control, obviously. So
yeah, because you'd already paid the DJ, like might as well have him come.
Yeah, and he brought and part of the DJ package was like uplighting. Yeah. So he's really good at like doing that. And he said he's worked with bands in the past, so I don't think that's a completely rare thing, but I just think having the band made the vibe so much more of a experience, I think. So
it turned out really good. And your DJ and your band, they became a great team. And I'm really glad your DJ was there because he did MC a lot. And so he really did kind of keep the crowd, like he communicated with the crowd really well still, even though your band was there to do some of that too. Also, you probably don't know this, he helped me carry your cake.
Oh, he was so nice.
He was so helpful.
Yes, Brandon from DJ
Yes.
Connect. He was very nice, and he even came up to us and was like, "Can I get you anything?" And I think he even lit like some of our lights that we had down. So yeah, no, he was very personable. He was great. So if anyone needs a DJ, I would recommend him for sure.
Me too. Yeah, he was so helpful. You just never know who you're going to work with, and he definitely did way more than just DJ, which was great. The Johnnies, the porta potties, because that could have been, you could have done that a lot cheaper and on a lower scale. But yes, I'm really glad you didn't, because it did, again, just like make the event more high end, and like people felt more comfortable and were more excited about that.
Yes, they did have someone over and they came, got it all set up, and I don't know how long they were there for and like what they did, but actually one of Matt's parents' really good friends, she is amazing. She actually decorated it. That was like her job.
That's who it was.
Yes, yeah, she was so sweet. She decorated it, and she put mints in there, and then we even had like, just because it was an outdoor wedding, we had little like individual, they're like deodorant wipes. We put those in there, and then like the face blotting things, and then like Tide to Go, just so if something were to happen, especially because we had Italian food, that people could clean up and whatnot. So just like little touches like that.
Extra face masks.
Yeah.
In that area, yeah.
Yeah. So I just think
So
went a long way with the little touches. So
yeah. Cool. Okay. Love it. So next question, let's talk about your timeline. So to kind of fill the other brides in, Amanda, you got ready at your house, and which you looked adorable in your little robe. Did Matt see those pictures? Because he probably didn't see you earlier in the day.
yeah, he did.
Pretty good.
She was so cute.
Slippers too.
Yes, those were so cute. So you guys got ready there, and then you had the party bus pick you up from your home and take you to the church.
We did a first look, which wasn't a part of the original plan, but since we moved our wedding due to COVID, and it was a Friday wedding, it was more in the evening instead of having mass earlier. So we had to do a first look before, just so we had, we weren't gone for hours in between the ceremony and reception. And I'm actually glad we did do that. Originally I was so against a first look.
I think I had to convince you.
Yeah, I'm so like that. I'm not normally super traditional, but that was the one thing I was very traditional on. But the fact that we did our first look down the aisle of the church, it felt completely like right. And I'm glad we did it. And it was nice because we had a little bit of time with just him and I, just to like say, we just kind of wrote notes to each other and kind of read them to each other in private. So it worked out better than I thought.
It did, yeah. And you guys did the first look down the aisle, which I loved. It's just you two in the room, and then you got on the party bus, left with the bridal party to go do pictures. So you guys had met at the church. That was like your meeting spot, yeah. So you went and did pictures, and then came back to the church for a ceremony, drove around on the party bus for a little bit while everyone went to the house, which was the venue, and then had your party.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, yeah. So
could you imagine not seeing Matt till like 6 o'clock if you hadn't done the first look? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm glad we did the first look, because you get more time with each other. And I think that was one thing, you always hear brides say, oh, you never have time just with you and your husband, you're too busy like socializing and hosting kind of. Yeah. I didn't play at all. I mean, we ended up having just a sweetheart table, just him and I, and that was the best decision, because we just sat there and we had a conversation, and we were just soaking it all in and looking around and like, this is everyone we love in one area. This is so great. So I didn't realize how much I liked the sweetheart table until we got to just enjoy dinner together and just take it all in. And so I feel like we got a lot of special little moments like that. So
we planned beforehand that timeline on, carving out those chunks of the day where you guys would be together and doing it in that order. You guys got that time. I'm so glad you brought up the sweetheart table, because I talk about it with brides, but they also love the idea of having all their friends up at that front table and kind of being the center of attention, which I love that too, because how often are you going to be sitting at a table with all your favorite people? But yeah, that sweetheart table was so romantic, and you guys did get that time together. So that was really cool.
Yeah. And also about the timeline, I think it was so organized and it was so like, it went so smoothly. I didn't even think about it. I wasn't like, what's next? Like, I never thought that way because one, you were so good at just keeping it going and it was a natural flow, you know, so I wasn't stressed about it. I didn't think about it at all. It just kind of, to me, it felt like it all just happened, which I know you were doing a lot of work, keeping things in motion and stuff on the back end, but yeah, it was great.
Good. Matt, what are your thoughts? Did you like the timeline?
Timeline was great. You and I forget your assistant's name.
Haley.
She did. She was great.
Was
And
great.
yeah, the night just went by so smoothly. There was no issues at all, which is unheard of in weddings.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a lot. It was a busy day on our side, but you guys had the best vendors, which makes it an even better day, less stress for everybody when you book, great wedding professionals. We all become a team and work together. If you like, the only issue on my end, and you guys, like, this is nothing probably compared to like some like other bad issues, would be like, it was the cake. I had to move the cake. I just had to like hold it and move it, and it was so heavy, but that was nothing.
Oh yeah.
because
I didn't talk about that. Yeah.
I don't even think you guys even knew about this, but this is why it's fun to like re-talk about your wedding. That table the cake was on was like sinking into the grass, so we had to move it over to the street.
Oh, so I did hear that something with the food, something with like the Garozzo set up and like the pans fell down, but the food wasn't in it yet or something. And
That did happen.
that's one thing I did notice is that which it worked out fine over there, was probably better because there's more room for people to walk. But I was like, oh yeah, those were moved. And someone was like, oh yeah, the table fell right before they're about to put the food on it. I was like, oh my gosh.
Who told you that? Probably the caterer.
I think it was your dad told me because he's friends with Mr.
Probably.
So I'm sure he saw it, so.
Yeah, but like stuff like that happens, and if you don't work, if you're not working with, legit professionals, they're not gonna know what to do like during something like that. So we picked it up and we moved it, and we just like made the decision on the fly. And yeah, so the cake and the food did get moved because of the grass, but it was no big deal. So
Yeah. And it wasn't even like rainy or anything. So just, I guess, future brides take that into account, like legs can sink in it wasn't raining before.
Yeah, it wasn't like wet ground or anything.
But anyway, yeah, it all worked out.
Yes. Love it. It was so beautiful. Okay, so next question. What would you tell other brides who are like thinking about hiring a wedding coordinator or even a planner? Because there's just so much.
Do it. Just do it. I mean, I am a big planner myself. I feel like I'm very organized with things.
You are.
And I knew I was like, I need someone that day that can take the stress away, because if not, I'm going to be stressed and I'm going to be worried and things won't go smoothly. And I just knew that. And then also there was things that I couldn't do, like the day of, like you and Haley did so much work out there, like helping get things set up, making sure vendors knew where they were. Like you were running around like crazy, helping out. Like even your mom was saying how she's like, those girls are just running around like crazy, getting everything done. It's amazing. And so like, those are things that if you guys weren't there to do that, that would fall on my mom or your mom, and they were already stressed out. And so it was the best decision I ever did. And I know originally when we first talked about it, I told him the idea and he's like, well, do we really need? I'm like, yes, we do, like 100%.
Sorry, Lindsay.
and no, and he even
fine.
And he, like,
no, I'm a believer now. I mean,
this is the conversation most brides have with the groom.
Just to calm her down and like let her relax and enjoy the day was money well spent. So highly recommend you and your team. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. It was the best thing ever.
That makes me so happy. And because if you don't hire that person, like you said, you're doing it, your parents are doing it, your
just falls through the cracks and no one does it. And then that's when you run into like things not going smoothly, I feel like. So definitely was worth it, every penny.
Yeah, and the money you put into your wedding day, you want it to be what you want. You want it to be your dream day. And so paying a little bit of extra, because I know a coordinator is extra in the budget. It's not like, not every wedding has to have a coordinator, but you're paying for that peace of mind to know that you're going to get what you paid for in the long run.
Even just like the upfront help. So with the timelines, like you helped me with like 2 or 3 timelines over and over again because we had a change. And that was just a huge weight off my shoulder, you know, getting, you know, you handled all that and did recommend, you know, had recommendations for this flows better. I'd recommend this, but you were also flexible. If I had an idea, you're like, okay, yeah, let's work this in. So I think that helped. Even just like, I would bounce like, hey, what are your other brides doing right now with COVID? Like I'd ask you all those questions. So that helped. Peace of mind a little bit to, you know, to hear what other brides were doing and what your questions were. So, I mean, it was the day of, but it was all of the upfront stuff too. So
yeah. How'd you like the spreadsheet and the planner?
No, so the planner, I love the planner. I love the Excel like timeline. So like it was great because I could just have it on my phone because I have an Excel app. And I could just share that, like screenshot and share, like, you know, send it to people or whatever. But that was great because I could just easily like look at like, oh, what's the timeline? Because you're going to get questions like you know, the hair and makeup. What time should I be there? If I didn't have that timeline, I'd be like, I don't know, whenever you want to come. And you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like planning is one thing, but wedding planning, there's just so many moving parts and different vendors and different locations. You have to take all of that into consideration. So loved all of the organization there.
Good. I'm so glad you used that. Was there anything you wish like we would have done or that we didn't do?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, honestly, you communicated, you got back to me super quick with questions beforehand. The day of, like, you had everything figured out. So honestly, because I think feedback is a great thing, but
yeah,
like,
that's why I'm doing this. I want to learn.
yeah. And I really felt like you were on top of it. Like, I mean, I seriously don't have any negative feedback. Everyone around us was just complimenting of how amazing and on it you were. And you were very like kind about it. I've been to weddings where, you know, some people, I get there's a plan you got to go to, but it comes off very direct, maybe a little rude to some people, but you were very organized and direct, but not rude at all. It was just very friendly and like, let's, you know, so yeah, no, nothing on my end at all for negativity likewise, but what about you? Ethan?
I mean, I really can't say anything bad about you. I mean, you did a great job. Like, I wish I could point something out, but you know, it really did good.
I don't want you to point anything out. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's good about just being nice. It's so funny how many brides say that about me or our company, because you do have to be a little stern and you have to tell people, okay, you have 5 minutes, let's go. But with a smile on your face, you know, it's your wedding day. We're not going to sit here and tell you like you can't do something. We'll explain to you like our advice, but at the end of the day, you know, you get to decide and you have to be nice about that stuff. It's such a fun day. You don't want to be mean.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because it just made it, I don't know, more like enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
okay, I think we just have like 2 more questions. I'd like to know, did you get enough time to talk to your guests? I think you guys meet right after your dinner.
Yeah, we made our rounds. And yeah,
I think there was probably like a couple tables we didn't hit, but it was like family member that I ended up talking to later on. It wasn't during the like allotted time, but Matt and I can chatty Kathy, like we can get, that was one thing I think that's hard. It is hard to like make it to every table, but I didn't stress out about it. I just made a point to like talk to them later on, like or dancing and whatever. So, but
we could have used a few more minutes just to converse with everybody, but you know.
I remember telling the DJ like, not yet, like they're still working around. And that's such an important thing for you guys, just to say thank you and say hi to your guests. But at the same time, it's also important to get the party started. So trying to figure out like that happy medium.
Right. And you gave really good advice. You were like, go to the tables of the people you don't see as much. Like, for example, like we didn't go to the table where all of our groomsmen and bridesmaids were sitting all day with them, and we see them all the time. You know, we'll see them on the dance floor. So that helped, just kind of, going to the tables with people that maybe we don't talk to as much or we didn't see all morning. So that was a good thing too. Or we, as we walked by, we said hi, chit chat, like just went on to the next one super quick. So
yes, and you guys did really good at that. Yeah. Okay, and then I have to ask too, where'd you guys stay that night?
we stayed at Hotel Indigo in the Crossroads.
Did you guys go straight back there?
Yeah, it was so cute. You had it all decorated for us. Like, it was like a fun surprise because like I did not know. I had no idea. And so
I guess the one thing that I would say, it was so modern, we didn't know where the food, because we asked you to put a late plate in the car and we couldn't find it for like 30 minutes.
Because it was like a cupboard. It was a modern hotel room. And so we thought there was no refrigerator. Well, cupboard, and we didn't know at all until like later on. I think we were like looking in the closet, just checking out the hotel, because it was like an apartment.
Yeah.
Feels like a boutique type hotel. And then I think you found it and we were literally so excited. It was great.
Did you eat the food?
Leftover food. Yes.
So, I never know. I always leave it and then it's kind of like, oh, I hope they got to the right room for one.
Yeah, we
I don't know.
definitely ate the food. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing is, so we kept our original hotel, and so it was pretty far from his parents' house because originally we were supposed to be downtown, so that was only 2 minutes from our original venue. So it was a pretty far drive. It was like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that was the only thing. Then we stopped off at Tom Topic and there was a long line there to get burgers. That was the only thing. So it was pretty late by the time we got to the hotel. So I loved staying in the boutique hotel, but I think in the future I would have done something closer. But yeah, I guess that's something to note because it is late and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, it was so cute in there and decorated, and you had like cake and everything, little cotton candy and stuff too.
Yes.
Yeah, rose petals. Oh, it was so cute. So that.
Yeah, no problem. It's one of my favorite things. Backstory. My mom and my husband's mom, they snuck into our apartment because we hadn't lived together. I got married like 10 years ago. But they came in, they stocked our fridge, they set up the table, they did the rose petals at my wedding 10 years ago before I was even in the wedding industry. So now I do it for all my brides. It was so cute. Such a fun surprise.
So cute. Yeah, it was a great surprise. So I great touch. It was, and then I think it just, I don't know, because I was pretty, not gonna lie, almost like grumpy because it was so late ever to get into our hotel room. When we got in there, we were both like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. So
yeah, you are welcome. So much fun. Okay, that was my last question. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add or share with brides? Matt, any last words?
Good.
Anything for future brides? I thought about this earlier and I thought I would share this. It's something so random and little, and Matt won't get, it's for the girls. So one thing that I did that I'm so glad I did is like, so if you're wearing fake eyelashes, I feel like they would always like get in my eyesight, make my eyes water and just be my way. So I went and got a lash lift. Best thing ever. They like curl up your natural lashes and just, so that way when you have your false ones on there, they're not in your eyes at all. So that's
nice.
He's gonna laugh at me for saying that, but I would recommend that.
We actually just got a contact for a lash girl. I don't know if it's for lifting or for the extensions. I don't know, but that's a really good point, because especially if you're not used to the lashes, they just feel heavy and it's hard to open your eyes.
Yes, that's what, so I did my trial and that's like what I felt like the whole day. And so I don't know where someone recommended that, and I didn't feel them at all. So it was definitely worth it. So that's my little tip.
I love it. I will definitely share that with brides for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for your time. Have fun and enjoy your evening.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.